MLB Realignment is happening. We heard Rob Manfred on Sunday Night Baseball during the Little League World Series game mention that not just realignment, but also expansion is coming to Major League Baseball. In today's video, I plan on focusing on realignment more than expansion. Let's be honest, while expansion is exciting, realignment has the chance to absolutely change everything in Major League Baseball. Well, at least everything that's been going on or felt normal for the last 20 years. Imagine the Yankees and the Red Sox aren't in the same division. Things are going to look differently. Let's talk about it. Of course, if you guys like what you see over here, make sure you do subscribe so you don't miss out on any of the baseball content coming at you, and drop a like if you're excited to see an expansion video later this week. This video is sponsored by Huel, and honestly, it's been a total game changer for me. Between filming, editing, going to baseball games, watching baseball games, I don't always have enough time to get a full meal. That's where Huel comes in, specifically with their Black Edition powder. It's a complete meal in a shake with all the protein, carbs, fiber, vitamins, and minerals that your body needs. And it only takes about 60 seconds to make, let me show you. I fill up my Huel shaker with water, add in the powder, and shake. I've been using the Black Edition powder by Huel specifically because it has higher protein and there's less carbs, and it's absolutely perfect for keeping me fueled without the mid-afternoon crash. Not to mention, at only $2.65 per meal, it's way cheaper and way healthier than grabbing fast food in between filming sessions or even while I'm watching baseball. Plus, it actually tastes really good. My go-to flavor right now is a cinnamon roll. I love cinnamon rolls. It tastes just like one. So if you want to try it, make sure you hit the link in my description or scan the QR code that you see on screen. Also, make sure you use my code GNM15 for 15% off your Huel purchase today. Or again, click the link in the description. That works too. You can even scan this QR code and get that 15% discount. Thanks again to Huel for sponsoring today's video. Let's get back into it. So right now, there's kind of two schools of thought with realignment. You have Jim Bowden of The Athletic as well as Stephen Nesbitt of The Athletic coming out with their own ideas for what realignment could look like. Jim Bowden goes more down the route of chaos, and Stephen Nesbitt feels more familiar, makes the most sense, it's not too crazy. But honestly, a big reason why we're even talking about realignment has to do with expansion. The fact that Major League Baseball looks to be adding 2 more teams eventually in the near future means that in the current state of the league, there will be uneven divisions. There are other issues in Major League Baseball as well. The fact that the central divisions tend to be weaker, the coastal divisions tend to be stronger, and travel for some teams, especially the Seattle Mariners, is absolutely insane and honestly unfair. Plus, with the expanded playoffs that we have, it probably makes sense to make an adjustment to the divisions that were made basically 20 plus years ago. Think about it. Truthfully, it's insane that a team in one division can make the playoffs because they won with 86 wins, but then because of the wild card structure currently, a team with 90 plus wins could end up losing out on making the playoffs. Kinda nuts. So right now, I want to take a look at the 2 realignment, I don't want to say proposals, but ideas by Stephen Nesbitt and Jim Bowden. Let's start off with Jim's because honestly, it's absolute chaos, and this would really change everything that we know about baseball from the last 20, 30, even 40 years, kind of. It's insane. Jim Bowden went down the path of strictly geographical realignment, and I don't necessarily hate that, but you'll start to see quick what the problem will end up being with his proposed idea. Right now, he has an Eastern Conference and a Western Conference, similar to how the NBA is. In the Eastern Conference, the Eastern Division has the Boston Red Sox, the New York Mets, the New York Yankees, and the Phillies. The Northern Division has the Reds, the Guardians, Tigers, and Blue Jays. In the Mid-Atlantic, you're seeing the Orioles, a Charlotte expansion team, the Pittsburgh Pirates, and the Washington Nationals. And then for the Southeast, you have the Atlanta Braves, the Tampa Bay Rays, Miami Marlins, and an expansion team in Nashville. If you look at the Western Conference, you have the Midwest, which looks like the Cubs, White Sox, Brewers, and Twins. The Southwest has the Astros, Royals, Cardinals, and Rangers. The Pacific Coast has the Rockies, Athletics, Mariners, and Giants. And then the West has the Diamondbacks, Padres, Dodgers, and Angels. Geographically, this is about as good as it could possibly get in Major League Baseball right now with the expansion choices that Jim Bowden made. But clearly, a lot of these divisions are not like the others. In this specific scenario, the Eastern Conference Eastern Division is absolutely loaded. You have 4 of the highest payroll teams in Major League Baseball, 4 of the teams that are actively trying to win every single year. It's kind of insane. And even when you take a look at the Western Conference and the Western Division inside of it, the Diamondbacks, Angels, Padres, and Dodgers spend a lot of money as well. So there's a financial imbalance, and truthfully, there are some crazy weak divisions. Like the Pacific Coast is super weak right now. The Mariners would absolutely run that. In the Eastern Conference, the Mid-Atlantic is crazy weak, and the Southeast is also really bad. Obviously, things would change as years go on, but this to me doesn't feel really feasible. Stephen Nesbitt's, on the other hand, I think takes what we have, which is the American and National League, keeps them the same, but realigns the division inside of them along with some expansion. So for the American League, because truthfully, I don't want to get rid of the American League and National League. I don't think that baseball should. I don't think that it makes any sense to. But in the American League, we still have the AL East, and that would be the Red Sox, the Yankees, the Blue Jays, and the Orioles. You have the AL North, which would be the Tigers, the Guardians, the White Sox, and the Twins. The AL West would be the Seattle Seattle Mariners, the Las Vegas A's, the Los Angeles Angels, and then a new expansion team of either Portland or Salt Lake. And then the new division would be the AL South, which consists of the Rangers, Astros, Royals, and Rockies. So there is a slight move there. We see the Rockies moving to the American League, but truthfully, they're one of the organizations that has the least amount of history. Yes, they start off in the National League, but we've seen the Astros make the move. We saw the Brewers make the move in the past to the National League. It's okay if the Rockies move, I think. I love this. I think the Mariners need a geographical competitor. They are so far away from every single other team in Major League Baseball. Putting a team in Portland or Salt Lake, two of the fastest growing cities in America, would make a lot of sense. But again, that's more for the expansion video later this week. Now, as for the National League, which again, love keeping that around as a National League fan, you have the NL East, which would be the Mets, the Phillies, the Pirates, and the Nationals. Honestly, as a Mets or Phillies fan, you absolutely love this. While you're still battling with your biggest rival, especially geographically, I would be happy to have the Pirates and Nationals in my division for a while. For the NL West, you have the Diamondbacks, Dodgers, Padres, and Giants. Truthfully, that is an absolutely loaded division. That probably feels like one of the more unfair ones along with the American League East. But for different reasons, these are just good competitive teams. In the NL North, you have the Chicago Cubs, the Cincinnati Reds, Milwaukee Brewers, and St. Louis Cardinals, still keeping a lot of core main rivalries together and geographically makes sense. And then for the National League South, you have the Braves, the Marlins, the Nashville or Raleigh expansion team, and the Tampa Bay Rays. Similarly to the Rockies, you could move the Rays to help make this make sense. It's still a very weak division, but honestly, it feels like these are the most fair. This feels the least chaotic. It feels like there's still enough change that realignment is necessary, but not so much change that it makes you look at Major League Baseball and think, what happened to my sport? So for the sake of this video, we're just going to use Stephen Nesbitt's from now on because I like it better and this is my video. Now, geographically, these are more balanced. The travel should be easier, and competition-wise and money-wise, it feels more reasonable than what we've seen. Reduced travel, rivalries are intensified because now there's only 4 teams in each division. You're going to play them more often, and the schedules will probably be a little bit more fair because we know interleague play is happening all year long. You should be playing teams more consistently and really only focus on those teams in the division, which get smaller, which allow for more teams playing each other throughout the season. I hope that made sense. Now, where things get a little bit tricky is going to be playoff structure. There's a couple different options. I think one option is to keep it at 6 teams. You have the 4 division winners, 2 wildcard teams. The 2 highest division winners get a bye, and then you have the other 2 division winners that didn't get a bye play a 3-game home series against one of the wildcard teams. That's if Major League Baseball wants to keep the playoff number pretty much the same as it is right now, which is 6 teams in each league. But because there's going to be expansion, I've got a feeling that Major League Baseball is going to expand to 8 playoff teams. I don't know how they're going to do it. I don't know what their exact format would be, but that makes a quarter of the league making the playoffs, which I think is kind of fair and still one of the lowest rates in all of professional sports. But then if you put in 8 teams, that probably means we go back to what was similar to the playoff format during the COVID season, where the 1 seed plays the 8 seed in a 3-game series at home. I will say from a fan viewing experience, it's absolutely awesome. From a league experience, you're going to have more playoff games, which means more revenue, which means more TV deal money, which means more spending. Hopefully. We, of course, know that some teams don't like spending no matter what. Those are the 2 options. Either way, I think the playoffs will be awesome for realignment. More baseball, more games that matter, more opportunity for big-time playoff moments. And I think Major League Baseball as a whole wants more revenue, and that's a easy, simple way to do it. More teams, more playoff games, more series, more revenue. Now, of course, with realignment, there are going to be winners, there are going to be losers. So who would benefit the most and who would suffer the most from this realignment? If we keep to the format that Stephen Nesbitt has, teams that are suffering the most, the Orioles would suffer. They're already in a tough division. It's not much different than what it previously was, but the Blue Jays, Red Sox, and Yankees are 3 of the highest spenders in baseball. The Orioles are not. I think this also still has the opportunity to hurt the Seattle Mariners. Their travel schedule is still going to be crazy. Unless you put a team in Portland or Salt Lake, it's going to be difficult for them to travel still. It will be better, but still tough. In the National League, maybe the Padres or the Diamondbacks get screwed the most, but otherwise, I think the National League is pretty good. The Pirates, I think, kind of also have it a bit rough. The team benefiting the most by far is going to be the Atlanta Braves. They run the South. There would be a new expansion team under this proposal in the South, which would kind of go onto their territory. But historically speaking, the Braves are still the strongest team in that division by far. Personally, I think that Nesbitt's plan is the best. I absolutely hated Jim Bowden's, again, because the divisions felt unbelievably top-heavy. There's a reason that you can't go full geographical, and that's because if you put the Mets, Red Sox, Phillies, and Yankees in one division, the competition is just insane in that division, and then there's some super, super weak ones. I'd be interested to see what you guys think about the realignment proposal down in the comment section below. Let me know what you're thinking. How do you feel as a fan of a middle-of-the-country team? How do you feel as a fan of a coastal team? This would be a huge change. As long as Rob Manfred doesn't get rid of the American League and National League, which I think needs to stay 100%, I think this could work. And honestly, it doesn't really matter what I think or even what you think. It's happening. Rob Manfred mentioned it on national TV. There is going to be realignment. There is going to be expansion. And this is not going to be the last that we talk about on this channel. It's not going to be the last that you hear about it over the next couple months. This is going to be one of the biggest conversation points in baseball, in sports, for the next few years until it actually happens. The idea of the Mets and the Yankees being in the same division is kind of sick. The idea of the White Sox and the Cubs is kind of sick. I totally understand why they might go crazy, completely destroy what we know Major League Baseball to look like the last 20, 30, 40 years, and really try to capitalize on making some bigger rivalries, TV contracts, and revenue, and of course, expansion. So yeah, this kind of realignment would change everything we know about Major League Baseball. This would be huge. And of course, part of this realignment is expansion. So in one of my upcoming videos, I will be going over the 10 cities that I think are most likely to get expansion teams whenever expansion does happen in Major League Baseball. So make sure you are subscribed so you don't miss out on that content. Drop a like on the video if you did enjoy it, you like realignment, or even just excited talking about it. Feel free to let me know in the comment section down below if you have any better ideas for realignment. I know Major League Baseball has commented on this video before. Maybe they'll take some notes. And don't forget to follow me on all my social media, GiraffeNeckMarc, to find out my instant reactions and thoughts all throughout the day about baseball. Thank you guys so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed this different kind of video. It was fun for me to make. I think the topic's super interesting. We'll see how you guys liked it based on how it performs. But you know the drill from here on out. YouTube recommends you watch this video. This is my most recent upload, so click through those if you have not yet seen them. Thank you guys for watching. Hopefully you enjoyed it, and I'll catch you all on the next video, which is probably about expansion. Bye.